Hello everybody, welcome back to G-Bear's Off-Grid Ways. All right, it's a hot day today, calm as can be, just beautiful. Turbine's not doing a thing. Branches are just slightly moving. That's probably from me talking. That's the strongest wind out here right now. Really, it is just a beautiful day. And it's got to be in the 70s. It's just outrageously nice. So I just put my hoodie back on to go back in the cabin. I said, what am I doing? I got to shoot a video. So here we are out in the garden. And I want to show you some of the things I accomplished today. One of the things was I didn't get to rototill this yet, but I did spread everything out evenly through the whole garden, as you can see. I pulled all the dead leaves off of the tree, and I'll just mulch those right in with the rest of everything here in the garden. I did clean out all of the gutter garden here. Now, what's a gutter garden? Well, underneath, it had that 3-inch pipe there with those T's that I modified. And it had, this is a float valve in there for like a swamp cooler. And that connected to that valve right there. So I could just leave it on and the water would turn on when it was needed and shut off when it was full. And it has 2 pipes that run, well, it's 1 pipe actually. It runs underneath, loops around, comes all the way back to that side, and it's capped on the end. Yep. Down all the way along the line, it had little units like that. And then I would put some of this weed cloth in there, and then in the bottom of those buckets, all those buckets there, I drilled a hole, a 3-inch hole, and these grow baskets, I pushed them right down through the weed barrier so that I could fill them with soil, and then those were protecting anything from coming up from underneath and allowing them to feed the roots of the plants with water whenever the plant needed it. It worked okay for a while. You got to remember that you've got to rejuvenate your soil every growth season. So that would mean taking it out of each one of the buckets, mixing it up with fresh nutrients, and then redoing all of the buckets. Way too much extra work, believe me. That underground watering system may be for some people, but it's not for me. It's just way too much work. So I got some more horse manure spread in here on top. I transplanted my avocado tree out of one of those same grow buckets right into the ground now. So it's got room to spread its roots out. Now I did leave the pipes underground in there. I don't see what difference it'll make. They're going to be in the ground until they rot away. In each one of the buckets that I had there, I remembered I threw a tin can in the bottom of the thing when I put the soil in. All those tin cans were completely deteriorated and rusted, and I mixed those in with the soil here too. So that adds iron to the soil and makes things, well, especially trees, it makes trees happy. Never plant a tree without throwing a couple of tin cans in the bottom of the hole. And you'll be happy you did. The trees love it. So I did go through and I had pulled all the manure away from the base of the trees. You don't want any of that stuff or even added soil or anything like that right up against the base of the tree. That'll cause a rotting of the roots and a disease of the tree. So I had to go through and clean all that around. So I got this all spread out. Now, in some of those buckets, I had things like cilantro and onions growing. So I moved the cilantro plants all over here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 cilantro plants there. So we'll see if they take and grow. And then the onions, I moved over there into the group of onions. And I got my rototiller out here. So I think tomorrow after, well, maybe even before, tomorrow before I do the 3 o'clock live for the drawing on the first, what is it, Wednesday prize, I'll be out here rototilling all of this in. I also got it all spread out over here and all ready to rototill in too. So I can get both of these done at the same time. And then of course on this one, I remember my rosemary wasn't looking very good. The soil needed more nutrients. A soil test said that it was pretty much depleted of all the nutrients. That's why my herbs aren't growing and all of that. So the manure is going to add nitrogen back to the soil. And if it gets a little bit too alkaline with all that manure in there, I will be adding coffee grounds to it to add some acidity and balance the soil. It takes a few times of testing. Also, I'll be pulling that aloe vera out and that aloe vera out and potting them so that the other stuff that's in those raised garden boxes has room to grow. And the nutrients aren't being stolen by the aloe vera plants. This one I really got to get into and do the separation and get all those babies out of there and into their own pots. But that's another day's job. I got so many of them ready now that I can bring a trailer load one of these days, probably just around springtime, January, February. If the weather is nice, I'll load them all onto a trailer, go sit on the highway down below and see if I can't sell some of those and get some extra working capital. So that's what I'm planning on doing. Next is also going to be, before the spring comes, I've got to prune this grapevine all the way back and get that going. And I'm thinking I might just try to root some more of the grapevine, the clippings that I take off. I've got a whole bunch stuck in that pot over there, and not the pot, but the box, and see if I can get that growing. And I think I can take this board out at the center here and let some of this soil mingle with that grapevine. If I'm not mistaken, that's a green seedless grape. No, sorry, that's a green seedless grape. And this one would be a red seedless grape. And I did put another red seedless grape way down in that corner. Never did real good. And the Concord grape right there has got a good base on it, but it's not growing very fast. For some reason, the Concord grape's not liking it out here, but I'm going to try to correct that. And then, of course, my grafted tree here is going to have a lot of stuff growing on it this year. That's going to be real interesting. This graft is really taken well. And that was a T-bark graft. But the two that I put at the top here, I think this one stole all the energy from it. So I will be cutting that off right there and sealing it with pruner's sealant so that these can grow stronger, faster. This is also a graft on here. And that was Granny Smith apple. That's going up, and all the leaves are off of it now, but it's showing signs of starting to come back already because it thinks it's springtime with this nice weather. This one here is all Bartlett pear. So that one's gonna really have some fun growing this year. This big one, that's only a 1-year-old graft, I think. 2024, yeah. That's Ambrosia apple. That one really took off this last year. Because I did that one in February of last year, so it's only a year old. But look at this thing. It goes all the way up to the wire. And it's hanging all the way down there. I even had to tie it up over there because it was getting so heavy. But I will be taking some scions off of this branch and grafting those onto my other air layered pear tree that I've got over in there, and see if I can't get that one to do multiple production. If that grapevine over there doesn't show any signs of coming back this year, I'll pull it out of there and I'll pot it if it has any root left on the root ball. And then in that box, I might move that that one quince tree over there, that air layer that I took off the quince tree that has apple grafts on it. I might move that into that corner right there and see if it takes and go from there. So that's what's going on in my garden, everybody. As you can see, I've been busy today. Got some dirt under my fingernails, and yeah, I'm liking it. It's everything's looking good here. Definitely is going to look a whole lot different when I rototill this. Once I loosen up the soil and mix this stuff in, it'll actually fluff up and come to the top of the boards. All except for over there where the onions are growing. I'm not going to bother with that because I got onions growing. And this one here, I can just drop the rototiller in there and just churn that up a little bit and mix that manure in and then just let it cool. And then in the springtime, it'll be ready for planting. Although I might add a little bit of the grower soil that I have outside with the perlite in it. If I add some of that on here and aerate the soil pretty well, I might be able to throw in some spinach in here and get some spinach growing. And if we're going to have any deep freezes, I'll just take a piece of visqueen that's in my storage container and cover it with visqueen for the night. I'll have that all prepared with 2x4s, or I might just even make a 2x2 frame with visqueen that fits right on top of this whole thing. So all I have to do is plop it down and I put some of my lead weights on there to keep the wind from blowing it off. And that'll keep the heat in so that my plants won't die if they get frostbit. It should keep enough heat down in there to keep it going. Then I'll have some fresh spinach here before it's even growing season. That'd be fun, huh? All right, everybody. I want to thank y'all for joining me. G Bear signing off, except with one last reminder. Tomorrow, live show, 3 p.m. We're going to do the drawing and see who won the first What Is It Wednesday. Now, because we had another delay on the inheritance until the 30th of December, I may not be able to mail that package right away. So you might have to wait a little while to get your prize, but rest assured it will be coming. And that will be coming as soon as I get the money to do it. For right now, I'm stressing to get through this month with my credit card payments and bills that I have to pay. And I'm really, really stressing that. So I don't have any extra money to spend for mailing an item. I'm sorry. I was expecting to have money by the 13th of this month, not having to wait until the 30th for the judge to say, okay, go ahead and distribute. So bear with me, everybody. I appreciate it. This is G Bear signing off.